Both. Oh!
Oh my goodness.
Horned heads, missing ears, and exceptionally snatched waist? What? Today we are reacting to extreme body modifications. Will some of these exaggerated mods have major implications on their health? We're about to find out. Let's dive right in.
I have 8 horns on my forehead. I have had my ears removed.
Wait a minute. You can implant anything that's inert, so to speak. We get breasts that are implanted. We can get calf implants. You can get butt implants. Typically, they don't cause much harm. And if somebody wants it there, they want it there.
My nose reshaped. Most of my teeth removed. I've had the white part, the sclera of my eyeballs, permanently stained green.
Whoa. The sclera, the white part of the eye, it's helpful to see if it's really red. You can see if there's a hemorrhage. You can see if it's turning yellow related to somebody who's got liver disease. So when somebody has modified, it actually makes it a little bit more difficult when there's a potential of medical problems going on.
My whole face is tattooed, and I have had some scarifications in my chin.
The tattoo can get cellulitis, which is inflammation of the skin, typically treated with antibiotics. Sometimes, very rarely, you have something called necrotizing fasciitis, where the infection gets too deep, it actually starts eating the tissue underneath, where you actually have to potentially that skin removed.
And branding on my chest and on my wrist.
Branding. Typically, the only time I've ever seen branding tattoos is related to like fraternities, where people will get the letters of their fraternity branded in, and then they have keloids form, which is basically a fancy word for scar tissue.
Scar tissue that I wish you saw.
My transformation is, for me, the greatest journey of my life.
So some people like to run, some people like to work out, some people like to do their own body modifications. A lot of times when somebody has so many requests for body modifications, the doctor will actually ask them to get cleared by a psychiatrist or a psychologist to say, okay, yeah, they're totally fine. They can modify whatever they want.
My mother and my stepdad ended up abandoning myself and 2 of my siblings. I was left at the age of 5 in the land of the western diamondback rattlesnake, whom I adopted as my own parent.
Wow, that's intense. Different traumatic events in our lives lead us down different paths. My hope for this individual is everything's done safe. Rattlesnakes, the venom can be quite injurious, can hurt you, can cause clotting issues.
When I left corporate, it was because I became HIV positive and I feared I was going to die.
With HIV, the body's already fighting, and now you're putting other foreign bodies into your being. Is that going to cause more inflammation and then potentially down the pipeline cause more issues with the potential virus that's in your body?
I know my tits are real, and I don't care what anybody
Whoa!
thinks.
Total Recall! Anybody seen Total Recall? Arnold Schwarzenegger. I love the movie.
The reason I got a 3rd breast is because I wanted to make myself unattractive towards men sexually. I just didn't want to be approached by men anymore.
Interesting thinking. We have breast tissue, and then there's the sternum in the middle. Placing an implant underneath there's not much subcutaneous tissue. It's all bone here. Be really interested to know how this actually was done.
She finally found a doctor willing to perform the procedure, which she says cost $20,000 and took an hour and a half. But she also claims he made her sign a non-disclosure agreement, meaning she can never reveal his name.
Might look down upon in the medical community, and that's why the doctor doesn't want to shed light on who they are, because it's not a normal procedure to get done.
Men will come up and ask for my picture, but they're not asking because they're attracted, they're asking because they're curious.
I'm assuming that it's a combination of fat taken from somewhere else in our body plus an implant. Silicone or water or different materials that are used.
Despite her unwillingness to prove that her operation was for real, Jasmine remains defiant of her critics.
At first glance, it looks like a real implanted extra breast, but nowadays with makeup, advances in prosthetics, sometimes you can do some really good things that make it look real.
Oh my gosh, that is
What?
so crazy. I can see your teeth.
What?
Oh my gosh.
I would have the same
That's
reaction.
insane.
We have people who have feeding tubes into their stomach, and if you take that tube out, that hole seals up really fast because the body heals that well. So same idea here. The fact that it's still an open spot means something in the way to prevent it from closing. Both. Oh no!
It's so
Come on!
to see the toothbrush like
That's
that.
just excessive.
Oh my goodness.
The difficulty of like spitting and saliva, if you spit, does it come out the side? No!
inside.
Use your mouth the way it's supposed to be.
No.
Your teeth are exposed in a different way to the environment, risking dry mouth, dental issues. Are your teeth gonna rot to where you're gonna need dental transplants, all new teeth?
All of this, it started from one tiny cut.
Yes.
Just one
Yeah,
small
just stretched
cut.
it.
Yes.
You have not removed any skin.
Nothing.
Nothing. It's just stretch and stretch and
Yes.
stretch.
I see something similar when people do the stretch of their earlobes. They get a piercing and they stretch that tissue out. Our bodies are amazing in the sense that they can adapt and change like that.
My name is Sarah and I want to match the world's smallest waist record or maybe beat it.
Wow. Just training your body over time to shrink down. It's like feet binding. It's a thing culturally that people have done in the past, and it actually changes the anatomy of the foot itself. Whoa.
Getting down to 18 inches.
I wore a corset when I was 16, 17 years old. It was because I fractured my L5 transverse process playing soccer and had all those strings, but I got it at a medical supply store, written as a prescription.
Like it's not about the aesthetics anymore, it's about the challenge. I am not concerned that I'm doing anything to damage my organs. I'm just curious like how small I can go.
The question ends up being is the displacement of the organs. Are things shifting and moving in different places? In the middle, it's your large intestine, your small intestine. There's not much there.
I like to push myself. In fact, I prefer a little bit of a gap at the top.
There's no gap at the top.
Yeah, I might loosen it back up at the top.
And the other thing you think about is, are you gonna pass out? Because it's so tight that you're compressing down your major blood vessels. And then the other question is, does this individual have any ribs removed to make it even tighter?
Early on in the process, it's a lot of soft tissue just being moved out of the way, just like fat and skin and muscle. And then you go closer and closer and you're actually having to move floating ribs.
I would really like to see, from a medical standpoint, what the body looks like without the corset on. Kind of the body's like...
Going as tight as I am now, I'm having to eat a little differently. I sleep in the corset, so I have to have a moderate dinner. I have to spread my calories out throughout the day, which I find a little tedious.
My then question would be, is there absorption with different types of nutrients because where it potentially is tight in the body? Is it an area where you absorb your B12 or different vitamins that you might be deficient in? Very interesting, very different. As long as they're safe and they're not causing any major harm to their own body, they're not causing any harm to anybody else. If you want to do body modifications, that's up to you. Just make sure you do it safely in a clean environment. Otherwise, you could end up seeing me in the emergency department in a situation that you don't want to be in. If you guys like this, let me know in the comments if there are any other episodes you want me to check out or shows you want me to check out. And as always, check out this playlist right here. Make sure you subscribe, turn your bell notifications on, hit that like button. Thank you so much for watching and stay healthy, my friends.